back to my channel. Today on Teny Talks, I'm going to be talking about depression, as you can see from the description, and my experience with it. And honestly, not gonna lie, I told myself that I would never talk about it because it's just something that I went through. I didn't ever want anybody feeling bad for me or whatever, so I was just like, I don't even want to, let's just not even go to that point, right? But this summer I had the pleasure of just being home with my family, like my cousins, my nieces and nephews and everything, and just great people. And that's when I realized that, like, you know what, damn, I started realizing tendencies and things that I went through at their age that they're going through now, and I'm looking at them and I see that loneliness that I felt. Not that loneliness of like not having friends, but that loneliness inside you, you know what I mean? Not being able to talk, or like just being so hard, you feel me? But more importantly, there was one, I think honestly what pushed me over the edge was I experienced a little girl come tell me that she is very embarrassed about her forehead and that's too big, and it broke my heart. And I was like, what? Like, I have a massive forehead too, it's okay, right? And it's funny, the other day I just posted on my Snapchat like a little video, like I just point out my forehead, and it did wonders for her. So, and I just thought, I'm like, you know what, I really don't know who's going through it, but if this can help anybody, if you can take anything from this, I'm thankful. I want to be able to share my experience and tell everybody that, like, hey, even I have gone through depression. I still have mental health issues, you feel me? Like, it's not perfect, but I'm dealing with it and I'm good. I'm gonna keep it 400 with you guys, like some YG-ish right now. I am feeling good, like I am in a good place, but I was not in a good place for a very long time. I was depressed for almost 3 years, and I didn't realize until 2.5 years, like two and a half years into it, that I was actually depressed, right? And even after that point, like, it's still lingering on for a bit, you feel me? And again, like, I'm talking from my experience. I know there's so many like different definitions and about what it really is, like all that good stuff, and that's great, but again, just sharing my experience right now. So let's get into it. So, being depressed, honestly, it's not a joke. Like, I feel like for me, the reason why it lingered on for so long, for 3 years, is because I was in denial. I literally was in denial of the fact that me could be depressed. Why? Is because growing up, nobody talked about it. Everybody in my household, everybody in my community, everybody I was around was hard. Everybody's heart's the core. Like, my parents, straight gangsta. Like, my parents, like, I'm the only one in my house that like has cried in front of anybody. But growing up, like, I'd get picked on because I'm the only one that would cry, you feel me? So I was kept to myself. Like, I'm not gonna share my feelings, and that's just what was ingrained in me. And not to say it's a bad thing, but I look at my community, I look at, like, I'm South Sudanese, and I look at the South Sudanese community, and a lot of these uncles, aunties, and everybody, honestly, I think it's not talked about enough, and that's the issue. I think for me personally, like, I saw people turning to drugs, alcohol, because nobody talked about it, and I still see it to this day. And the issue is because everybody is so like blinded by it and doesn't think it's real, and that was the issue with me for 2.5 years. I didn't think it was real. I was like, no, that ain't me, until I was diagnosed, until a therapist sat me down and was like, yo, listen, baby girl, you are depressed. I remember looking at her, I was like, I started laughing. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Yo, you playing me? What you mean? I ain't depressed. And she's like, no, you are. And what I thought, literally when she said that, I was like, if you're telling me I'm depressed now, sweetheart, what about the last 3 years? You feel me? So I was like, what? And then I remember, like, I still was so in denial about it, but I remember it took me a few days to kind of wrap my head around it. And then when I accepted it, that's when I was able to educate myself and to get past it and to move forward. For a long time, I felt that I didn't want it to be who I am, right? But once I got past that and realized, like, it's just something that I experience, it is what it is, that's how I got through it. When I think about all the things that led up to it, honestly, truthfully, from my experience, again, it's not one thing that made me become depressed, you know what I mean? There were so many things that accumulated, many things that happened, where I'm telling you, like, it all started too, like my first year of university for sure. That's when it like started to hit. I'm in a new country. I'm like, all right, bet. I have my walls up. Everything's up. Guns out. Shoot first, ask questions later. Like, I was up. But there were so many things coming at so many different directions that my limbs started to fall off. Like I was getting weak. I was getting tiny. And then it hit hard like after I had surgery, because I had to get surgery on my shoulder my first year. And that was the point where like I literally was at a point, and I remember going through this and I was like, oh my gosh, what's the point? Because basketball was really life for me. Like, that's all I did was ball in school. It's like, that's all I'm doing, you feel me? Like in high school I didn't do anything, but I just remember just literally like just chilling. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to class. I'm not doing all this. What's the point, right? And my assistant coach at the time, thank goodness, bless her soul for this, and a few of my teammates were encouraging me to go see like our sports therapist, right? And I was like, all right, whatever. I really just did it because of them. Like, they're like, just do it. I'm like, you know what, why not? Like, I'm ready. Like, I'm not playing right now. I'm already mad. I'm cheese. Like, what's the point? So I go see her, and after like a few meetings with her, she literally was like, you got two options. She's like, she was so dead ass with me. And if you ever watch this, shout out to Sheila Wright. Like, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for everything, because you were my rock and all that. You were a big part of like just my progression, so I'm so thankful for that. So first she was like, all right, you can start drinking, you can do all this stuff, start partying, or you can get your life together. You can actually act right, be a part of your team, like help everybody out and gain something from this, right? Like, use it and don't let it use you. And I'm out there, I'm sitting there, I'm like, you didn't even let me sit in this for a second? Like, damn. Like, no, I'm playing. But honestly, I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, partying wouldn't be too bad. And I was like, honestly, nah, I can't even do that, because I'd be acting like a character. Like, that's not even me. So I'm like, you know what? I listened to her, started getting everything right, which is good. However, again, my arms are still weak. I'm losing weight at this time. I'm like, after surgery, I was done. I'm like, eating was not even a thing. I had to see a nutritionist. Like, it was just bad. But after that point, like, so many other things started coming the way. And it's crazy because like this kind of ties into like why I transferred. I might actually do a video about this, like transferring and the whole experience of that. But it's crazy how like when people ask me like, oh, why'd you transfer? I think that's always the question, like when you transfer, obviously, right? Why'd you transfer? And for anybody that has actually ever transferred, I think it's so hard to explain it to people if you haven't like actually transferred. I think anybody that's transferred not for good reasons, like for more negative reasons, feels me on this. I mean, let me know if you do. If you don't, I might be alone on this one. But personally, the reason why I transferred is because I wasn't in a good place mentally, physically. My nails, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I usually have my nails done, and for whatever reason, I did not today, so I'm sorry. Anyway, this is so sad. Okay, sorry, to go back to my story is what I would say, the reason why I transferred is because I felt alone. I felt very much alone. I did not have the support that like I thought I would have. Again, not to say like it was anybody's issue. It really wasn't, like, but I let a lot of things get to me. And it's crazy because like, not even now, but I used to get mad at myself because I'm like, how did I let this person do me like that? How did I like, how did I slip up on this? Like, how did I trust this person? You feel me? But it is what it is, and I can't do anything about it now. All to say that it was just not a good environment for me. That's why I had to leave. And at least I'm very thankful that I realized that, and I had people that helped me realize that, because my hard-headed self was like, screw this, I'm just gonna tough it out, and I'm gonna pop, show these people, you know, that was what I wanted to do. But even after all of that, like, I'm very thankful that I actually woke up at that moment and realized, hey, this is not a good environment, like, let me leave. And I'm so thankful I did. But even after that fact, like I said, I was depressed for 3 years. Wow. 3 years. Yeah, for like 3 years. So that's 1 year, right? 1 year down. Okay, on to 2. 2 was bad. 2 was really bad. 3 was bad. That's when I realized, that's when I actually went to go see somebody, and this lady was like, hey, like, yo, you're depressed, bro. Like she literally wrote it on paper. You are depressed. Depression, right there. Slapped it in my face. I was like it's crazy, because when I was going through all this, I feel like it wasn't even like I put on a front. Personally, I truthfully, like, I did not accept it. There were times where I'm like, yo, I'm not okay, but I didn't let nobody know that, you know what I mean? Nobody. And I don't think a lot of people could have, like, actually noticed it, right? Until I started speaking up about it. But I think that was the thing. Like, I was so in denial, and I was putting on this, like, personal facade within myself that, like, whatever I put out, that's what I believed, right? Until I actually sat down and realized, like, hey, I'm actually not okay. I need help. Like, I need to get better. So thankful that, like, that someone told me that sat me down and was like, yo, you actually have a problem right now. And I hated hearing that. Like, I have a problem? You telling me I got a problem? Like, I'm stubborn. I'm telling you guys, I'm stubborn. Like, seeing not a doctor, but like a therapist or whatever was amazing. And I'm very thankful that I did. But even after that point, even after, like, I was diagnosed, it took me a while. I was very silent, very closed off for a bit. Like, there were moments where, like, I would not leave my bed. There were moments where I wouldn't talk to people. There were moments where, like, I would just sit and cry for, like, hours, days. Like, I would eat a ton, I would not eat. My health was just all over the charts. Like, it was just not good. And I'm finally at a point in my life where, like, I definitely started, I would say, like, last summer for sure, where I just, like, revamped. I'm like, no, this is a stop. Like, I'm not trying to be anybody different, but I'm trying to be me. I want to get to the core of who I am, you feel me? And I'm so thankful that I did, but that wasn't until, like, I confronted myself and, like, addressed it and accepted it, and that's when I started dealing with it. And it's not easy. You have to change your habits. It's a consistent thing. Like, you gotta really talk to yourself. I also realized that, like, now that I know what I know and I went through what I went through, it's a lot. It really is a lot, in a sense that, like, it's not a quick fix, and it's not quick into getting to it, and it's not quick getting out of it, you know what I mean? Like, it creeps up on you. Like, it'll just slap you for me, it just slapped me in the face. And had I been a little more open, had I been a little more understanding and, like, accepting of information and just help, or just been a little bit open, probably would have gotten better, like, somewhere better. But also, I didn't have people around me that were talking about these issues, that had gone through what I was going through. Like, maybe they have, but no one talked about it. So that's honestly, truthfully, why I'm even saying this, is because growing up, I didn't know who to talk to, nor did I even understand, like, what I was feeling. After that point, like, after 3 years, like, that's when I would say it took me 3 years to, like, kind of, like, from start to finish, you know, like, get in it, get to my worst, and I'm like out of it. I've been out of it for like a year, which is so good, but I still, there are times in my days, weeks, years where, like, I don't feel good. But one thing that I always hold close to my heart is that nothing ever lasts. Nothing in this world, and I hope you guys realize that, ever lasts. I'm talking about happiness, depression, like, sadness. None of those emotions ever last. But you have the ability to prolong it. So for me, I'm telling you guys, anyone that enters my life, I want positive vibes. Positive, good vibes only. Like, if you got good energy, come towards me. If you don't have good energy, I don't want it. Not in a disrespectful way, but, like, I have gone through so much that I'm at the point where I'm just protecting my peace in such a respectful way. Like, you know, not disrespect for anything, but, like, I just want good energy. I want good people. I want people that are wanting to grow in my life. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is you got to surround yourself, even at this point, no matter who you are, young, small, old, no matter what age you are at, surround yourself with people that are positive, that are going to make you feel good. Surround yourself with things that make you feel good. Like, figure that out. And that's a trial and error, because for a very long time, especially this, like, the last 2 years, it's just trial and error. Like, I'm trying to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what I vibe with, what I don't vibe with. Like, what do I like other than basketball? I think that's been a big thing. Like, what else am I passionate about, you know? And just asking yourself questions. And this is another thing. Like, I always tell people, I'm like, yo, why don't you just, like, talk to yourself? I talk to myself all the time. I write so much, but I say that to say this. You can sit down and talk to yourself, ask yourself some questions to yourself, no one else. Like if you can actually just sit on your ones and actually figure out who you are, what you like, all that good stuff, I'm telling you, you will get closer to happiness. So much closer. But anyway, I have talked so much. I really do hope that this helps anybody. If it does, I'm all for that. If you can take anything out of this, even if you're watching this and you're like, oh, this doesn't apply to me, that's great. And that's the thing, I just want everybody to be happy. Like, I really do. I just want everybody to be so good and so happy in their life. And I think like the more you talk about it, the more you'll get closer to that. Anyway, this has been a long video. I really hope you enjoyed it. No, if you want to talk to anybody, like I say this and people always say this, like, oh, if you ever want to talk to me, hit me up. But like, find somebody to talk to. Protect your peace. Figure it out, like address it, feel good about yourself. Anyway, that is the end of my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Just keep staying safe. But if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna really try my best to stay on top of this. I really do enjoy it, not gonna lie. Like this past year, like I was saying, it's a trial and error. Like I was trying to figure out what I liked, what I don't like. Stay tuned, I got some more content for you guys. But again, hope you guys enjoyed and have a blessed day, beautiful people. All right, take care. Do you, boos?